My name is Carlos Walker. This is Art and Hustle Black Authors Matter, and today I got Mr. Sean Luther with me. Peace and blessings, sir. How you doing?
I'm pretty good, brother. How about yourself? Good to be here.
Man, I appreciate you. Look, hey, I'm doing perfect. As I just shared with you just a few seconds ago, uh, if you're not here, you can't experience, and I'm grateful for life.
Sir, sir.
So, Mr. Luther, if you will, share a little bit about yourself and who you are.
All right. Well, as you said before, I'm Sean Luthor. Started writing about 10 years ago.
Mhm.
Uh, kind of got me through a little bit of a rough spell, a little rough time in my life, where I just kind of sat down one day and so I'm watching TV and at work. And I'm saying, I can make stories like that, you know. So I just started, writing on my own, and then one day decided, you know what, I'm gonna transfer this over to a digital form and do something with this, just put my stories out there and hopefully the world enjoys them. And so far so good. And yeah.
So, one, I want to congratulate you for being an author for 10 years. They say anything you do for 10 years, you're a professional.
Uh-oh.
They say 10 years or 10,000 hours, one of the two, and you've been doing it
Okay.
for 10 years. Look, I'm counting you as a professional.
Hey, all right. Well, look. I don't want to say 10 years. I'm a professional. I've only been an author for about a few months, but I've been writing for a long time.
That makes you a professional. Look,
There
hey,
you go.
it
Hey,
may not
professional.
be your book just wasn't published, but the work had been done.
There you go.
Look, whether it's today or tomorrow or 10 years ago, the work was you put the work in.
Yes, sir.
So, one, I want to congratulate you for one, writing, two, finally publishing the book.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Man, you don't know how important that is and how many people want to write a book. Most have already written like you have wrote,
Mm,
and they didn't take the necessary steps, which is the next step, and publish it.
right.
You done
Right.
this now.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
and that's part of it, and you're absolutely right because for the long, like I said, 10 years ago, and I didn't think about doing anything with it. I was just writing, making stories, and doing absolutely nothing with those stories. Until that day came where I finally said, you know what, I'm going to do something with this. I'm actually going to publish this and see where it goes. And even if it didn't, go anywhere, at least it's out there. You know.
I like to add something to you and just tell you this. The only reason why it doesn't sell,
Mhm.
because you don't buy author copies and move.
Well,
You
that's
can
true.
you can tell people online, you can do all the ad work, you can even hire people to do work. But one thing I can promise you, they'll never get your signature unless you send them to your website where you can sign it. They'll never meet you unless you meet them and are able to sign their book in front of 'em.
Right.
That's just a
Right.
bit of advice, but you gonna be the main person who have to believe in this thing to move it. Otherwise, I know authors right now, they've been had books forever, and they
Mm,
probably have not sold no more than about 3 to 5, if 3 to 500 copies.
right. Right.
But they got books now. Look, some of them got 10 books. They just haven't sold them because they haven't put legwork or movement behind what they have already put out there. They already got the work. That's like having. I'm gonna use another term instead of using my past. That'll show where I've been. I was about to say
Yeah,
that's like
we
having.
don't talk about where we've been.
Yeah, look,
Talk about
well, I
where we're
always
going.
talk about where I've been, but that would be like having a store and never selling nothing. You got all the product in there, but you never
Right.
invited nobody to the store.
Mm, yeah.
So
Yeah. You're
enough
100% right.
look, enough about this. I want to get to you and your why, or why you created your book or the material that you write. What is the name of it, first of all?
I have the Concrete Power series, a 3-book series. Um, and then, of course, I've got my book, The Last Night, which dives deep into kind of the dark side of mental health. And then
Mm,
my latest book, which is a It is a kind of like a psychological thriller, which is My Good Little Girls, about a kind of diving into the mind of a serial killer and his everyday. Um, but yeah, the Concrete Power series was the one that I first started off with. It originally was one book, and it was about 900 pages. And I said, okay, well, is it one of the things that I thought about was I know myself. And I know, I'm a guy who likes to watch movies, likes to watch TV. And we're in an age where not a lot of reading is going on. And so one of the things that I thought about was how can I catch someone's attention long enough for them to get through and
Mhm.
not get bored too fast. So one of the things that I did was I kind of, chopped it up, um, tried to condense it to where it goes through a little fast. And one of the things that I also thought about was as a man, I need
Mhm.
something to catch me quick. I need
Mhm.
so that I can get into it real quick and go through. And so that's what I kind of based that series on, just me, myself, and how I would go through and what I would make me want to hurry up and get that attention of myself.
Mm.
And so hopefully that'll get across to other men that, that can dive into reading.
So, as you go along this journey, you'll realize that there are more people reading more than ever,
Mhm.
especially in our culture.
Right.
Uh, Black women reading at an all-time high. Black men, I know a bunch of black men that are reading. Even you'll find yourself, me, you'll talk offline. I did 13 years in prison. That's why I started reading that. You got a bunch of people who are actually really reading, especially in our community now. But
Right.
as you go through your journey, as the author that you are now, you realize that they are. Now the youth, you're right. Look, the smaller the book, the more concise, the quicker they'll catch on and get through it, reach for the next. I
Right.
like the fact that you did that and that you thought about that, thinking just of yourself. That's immaculate, man.
Yeah.
But 5 books.
Yeah. So far, five. I'm working on three more at one time, which is
So
kind of
all published last year?
so the going into last year, going into this year, um,
Mm,
because and what made that so the ones now are taking a little longer because they're more of just now thoughts. The ones
okay.
from before, like I said, that I've been writing over time, that was a little easier. It was easier to okay, I can just kind of transfer this over. But now I'm running into things such as writer's block and
Mhm,
and the good part is that now, of course, we've got cell phones, and
mhm.
phones have everything on them, every app. And so, as soon as I get an idea, whether it be out here and or at the gym or whatever, I can pull out the phone, start writing.
I love it.
And so as I'm going on throughout a day, I might have an idea for this book, that book, and I'll just go ahead and put it in there.
Mm.
But these three that I'm working on are just going to take a little longer. But yep, they're definitely coming soon.
One, I commend you. You got 5 books out, even though it's over a span of 10 years. You've written them, and but you dropped them. You dropped all of them in at the end of last year to now. I don't know if you have applauded yourself, patted yourself on the back, but I want to tell you, please do if you have. That
Yeah.
is huge to have 5 books. I only got two myself, got some other stuff that I'm working on, but I commend anybody that can that have an idea and that can do as God did and manifest it here. That to me is one of the most powerful things that us as humans do. We can think and then manifest if you're willing to put work in, whether it start as a seed, which is a thought, and then as a tree after it's brought forth. It produces fruit in its time. But the fact that you was able to bring it here, pat yourself on the back, man.
So,
That's huge for me. So 5 books. Give me 3 of them that you are. that is the closest to you? I'm pretty sure all five, but
Mm.
which ones really touch you?
Um, well, in all of them, like you said, I've put a little bit of portions of myself in all of them. But I would say the one that is my personal favorite would be The Last Night.
Mm,
And basically because that, like I said, dives into that mental health portion of things, kind of like that, the darker side of it,
mm-hmm.
the side that a lot of people kind of don't like to talk about. I know, especially now, the mental health thing is something that we are diving into as a as a culture, one, and then two, as a nation. But there's still a lot of it that goes untouched and unseen, and it goes into those stories that you hear where you wonder, I wonder what happened to that guy. What made him
Mm-hmm.
do this? Or why did he do that? Or I don't see why that would happen.
Mm-hmm.
It touches on all those. And for me personally, that's a huge deal for me personally. Um, like I said, when I wrote all these, it was during a time where I wasn't in the best mental health state.
Okay.
And I used it to, one, bring myself back around. It was an
Mm-hmm.
outlet, something that I used to say, okay, I know what I'm feeling, know what I'm going through, and I don't know if I actually want to talk to anyone about this, which again I should have, but writing made it so that I could get those thoughts onto paper, even if these are fiction stories. But again, parts of me are in these stories.
Mm-hmm.
And so going back to your question, I think that, even though you asked for three, but I think that one is really one that really just touches home.
Okay, if you would share a
Mhm.
little bit about the book for me. The
Sure.
main character, some
Mhm.
an issue that this person may go through.
Mhm. So in this book, the main character is a character named Arthur, and he at one time was a man who had dreams and aspirations of being a teacher as well as other things. Um, got married, and unfortunately, life didn't go in the way that he had initially dreamed of it going. Um, he has a sick son. His wife is not so into the career choice that he has now. And so it goes through the struggles of that, as well as the struggles of trying to hold his family together while also going out into the world working that 9 to 5 blue collar job.
Mm,
Um, so, again, I know that's a reality for a lot of people in general. Um, this one, of course, just touches on the man's portion of it, the
mm-hmm.
main character being a male, but for people in general, like that's a reality, and for me as well, that was a reality, and so it
So,
goes through that. Mhm.
no, go ahead, because I think you're about to hit
Um,
on what I was about to ask anyway.
okay, so one of the things that he goes through as well with his son is that his son um, draws him pictures every day.
Mm,
And those pictures that he draws are of his father, as well as his father in fantasy settings. And his father uses those pictures to kind of get through the day,
mm,
oftentimes imagining himself in those pictures as he's working. So, for a good example, one of the um, uh, things that takes place is that Arthur's at work, and he starts to imagine that the conveyors that he's working on are dragons, and just like the picture that his son drew of him fighting a dragon, and
mm,
his scanner is a sword, and it gets him through that day. And as the book goes on, you see that one, life still is taking that turn, going towards the worst side of things instead of the good. And again, for a lot of people now, and just in general, it's a reality where we can, sometimes things don't go in the way that you want it to go,
mhm.
and there are those factors in your life that you can hold on to, and that will get you from day to day, that will pull you through. And so for him, his son is that biggest factor. It's that
Mm.
biggest motivation for him to keep going.
So, I know you said every book has a piece of you. What part of this is your story?
Um, well, in this book here, this will go into the, like I said, the darker side of my past,
Hmm.
where although it's not, it's not based on me, but I
Yeah.
did go through those portions where, you know, holding the family together, holding the kids together, going through, trying to figure out what I'm going to do that next day. Um, there was times where, I had jobs where I was getting plenty of money, and the next thing you know, it's gone.
Mm.
And I'm wondering, well, what am I going to do now? You know, and so that portion of it applies to this book here.
Hmm.
Trying to figure out what I'm going to do, where I'm going to go. When you do get that next, you know, job, career, and it's not paying enough to get through the living paycheck to paycheck isn't even enough. You know,
Hmm.
and so it kind of, I put that portion, those feelings I had during those times into that book.
One, I want to commend you on getting past. You have a story that many men, women as well, but many men need to hear because they going through this and they don't know how. But you have also overcame the feelings of despair, the feelings of things that may happen, and you got to. Us as men, we don't always talk to people. We just go and tote this stuff. I don't know if your character in the book, if he start drinking or anything, or trying to do something to release pain. But
Right.
these things are things that we as men go through, and I'm grateful that you wrote this book because a lot of men need to read that book.
Right.
I feel that it's super important for them to read it, but because it sounds like he found something to latch on to his son's pictures to
Right.
start to change his perspective of the book. I mean, to change his perspective of his life. And that's like only thing you need is one thing to be able to see a glimpse of hope and life changes.
Yeah, and that was one of and to go back to what you had touched on was the self-medicating. The book does
Hmm.
touch on that as well. The things that you end up falling, addictions and things of that nature. Even if you work your way out of that hole, sometimes life can pull you right back in, and it touches on that as well. Even in the book, the character Arthur does, it touches on how he did climb out, but in the book you'll see that there's a younger version of himself that he sees from time to time
Hmm.
that tells him to, hey, come on back to what you used to be. Now, don't keep pushing forward. Just come back here. We were good back here. And a lot of times that voice can be loud, and it can pull you back into those dark places. And so, like you said, you've got both aspects of that, where you've got his son that is keeping him in that positive, push. But at the same time, as life is going, that little voice is saying, come on back. You know?
It's
So
easy.
yeah,
It's easy here.
yeah, it's easy. This where you really want to be. Don't keep going towards that. That's hard. You know. Yep.
So, I do want to ask. I know you got another work that you well another three, not one, three that you're working on now.
Mhm.
And if you don't mind me asking, is this a series or is these separate works
Mhm.
that's not together? And what is one of them? Just give me one of them. What is one of them about?
Well, one of them matter of fact, the one that I will speak on, is it's a story that's going on more into the fantasy side of
Okay.
things. I wanted to kind of switch gears a little and go into the fantasy genre. What I am doing with this book, and I'm working towards it now, is trying to get uh, young African American um, uh, children to draw pictures for it. Because what I want it to be is a visual type of novel. kind of along the lines of I guess to say a comic book towards
Okay.
that, but of course it'll still be a novel. Maybe every 10 to 20 pages it'll have something related to what's going on in the story. But I wanted to do something that I can involve the community with, children
Mm,
that I know, including my own, that I can say, okay, uh, here's something constructive we can do. Here's
yes.
something that you can move, eh, draw. Here's the the synopsis, or here's the plan for it. Draw whatever your imagination can give me, and I'll make sure it gets into this book. And I don't care if you're the best drawer in the world, or someone that can just do me some stick figures, but I want it to be in this book so that they can see that their efforts and their what they're doing can reach the world.
It
you know
matters.
yes, yes. And so that's in that story, it's about a man who it goes along, like I said, that fantasy world. So he ends up getting powers, and tries to figure out what to do with them.
Okay.
Superhero type powers, and tries to figure out what to do with them, how to navigate it, and what the even though you're trying to do good things, what are the repercussions of doing those good things with that much power? And what
Mm,
do you do with it? And so that's one of the ones that I'm anxious to get that going, that whole project going, and bringing those kids in, and trying to get those drawings going from them. I've already let about as of right now 3 um, you know children that I've let them know about what's going on, and they're getting it together, and they're putting the pictures in, like, hey, what do you think about this? I'm like, hey, it's great. you know and I'm not gonna lie, some of them I'm like, man, maybe you should be drawn for Disney or somebody, because it's looking pretty good. But so hopefully, getting it in this book and throwing it out there, and it can Steam can get under it, and hey, who knows, they might be the next big artist out there.
appreciate that.
Hmm.
Uh, I've never heard of no one actually doing that idea, so I commend you for that because to me, I think we really do need to focus on what people's gifts are. One of my favorite verses in the Bible is, "Your gift will make room for you and put you before great men." That included women. For those women who are looking, that included y'all too. But that idea lets you know that it's the gift that you into rooms that your hard work at somebody's computer or job might not ever get you there. And when
Right.
you really truly learn how to do as you're doing now, you're right. You're a writer. This a gift to be able to have that many books already stored back, and then when you felt that it was time, you're published now, and you never know. One is a great time in history to even be doing the book that you're about to do now and get the youth involved to get them to understand the power of their gift. Your gift just opened up room for young children. I mean, young people. But the crazy thing about it, we don't even know who they are right now. But you deciding to use your power. I'm glad you said you spoke about one of your books. Oh, matter of fact, this book having a superpower that actually elevate somebody else's superpower or make them understand that they got one, and now they're going to use theirs, and 20 years from now they may do the same thing for somebody else because you done it. Appreciate you, man. I really
Appreciate you
truly
as well, brother.
appreciate you.
Yeah,
And
yeah. So,
before we go, I do want to ask you, how has the journey been so far?
um, so I'm starting to realize what it is to be an author. Some of the, like you said, the leg work, so I've recently started buying those author copies, because I noticed that uh, in my travels, I end up talking about it and just telling the person, oh, well, you can go on Amazon or you can go to Barnes and Noble. Chances are it's not going to happen, But what I have noticed is that as I've got those author copies in, I can say, hey, I've got it right here, and a person that one is meeting you, is able to relate with you, is able to hear that synopsis from you. Yep. And then exactly, and the first thing they say is, "Oh, can you sign a copy for me?" Gotcha, right here. So, like you said, that part of it, and it is a lot of hard work, which I had no clue about, because again, getting into this, I had no clue about nothing. I'm just writing and publishing. Throw it out there. It's gonna come. And so that was one of the things that I'm seeing. But the journey has been very fun. I can say that because of this, I've learned a lot. I've met a lot of great people, other authors that I would have never met in any other way. And so it's been great. So far I'm loving it.
Look, continue. I want to encourage you. Continue. It's gonna be. It only gets greater. Best way I can put it. It only gets better. As you continue to move out and move. I tell every author that I meet, keep 10 copies. If you can get your little book bag, tote it everywhere you go, same way you put clothes on every day, keep 10 copies with you. And what you'll find out, you'll end up having conversations with people on a plane in another country, um, just walking down the street. And like you just said, they be like, you'll share a little bit about yourself with your book about, and they'll ask, can you sign it for me? And it's like one of the most inspirational feelings, both sides. You give them inspiration when you share your story and share your book, but you get that same feeling because you be like, yo, I just I just sold another book,
Yeah.
or I just basically gave another piece of me to somebody.
Right.
And it's mind blowing. So
Mhm.
keep inspiring, man.
Yes,
Before we
sir.
leave, need two things from you. A word of
Mhm.
wisdom, tell them everywhere they can get your book.
All right. Well, word of wisdom would be, take care of yourself.
Mm,
Take care of your physical as well as your mental. Like I spoke on earlier, that mental part of it, that's 100% of the game. You know,
that's the
because your
battleground.
mind can make it. Your mind can make you sick. It can make you great. It can make you, rich. It can make you poor. And
Mm,
as long as you take care of that, your mental health, your brain power, you'll go far. Um, and as far as my books, right now you can get them on Amazon. Got ebook, audio, as well as paperback and hardback. Barnes and Noble. If you go to Goodreads, or Goodreads pretty much has all the different um, versions, as well as where you can get all of the books at. But like I said, the one that most people know is Amazon. So yeah, if you go there, you can check them all out. Or if you just Google Sean Luthor, which is funny because I'm the only one that comes up,
mm.
and they're all there.
Man, once again, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to be able to have a conversation with you about your literary works. Uh, keep going, keep inspiring people, and hopefully I'll meet you personally soon. Be able to get my
Yes,
own copy, but continue to be who you are and keep writing.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for having me on, and I'm honored to have the opportunity to be here. I appreciate it 100%, man.
Man, look, trust me, it's an honor for me. With that, my name is Carlos Walker. This is Art and Hustle Black Authors Matter, and this is Mr. Sean Luthor. Blessings.